Welcome to the Good, the Bad, and the Sequel Q&A. My name's Doug. So the next sequel that we're going to be covering is a real star-studded sequel full of some of the top actresses at the time when it comes to the movie Ocean's 8, which is kind of, you have Debbie Ocean, it's Sandra Bullock, but the cast is Cate Blanchett, Sandra Bullock, Anne Hathaway, Mindy Kaling, you name it, they're in this movie. And in a small role in this movie is this week's guest, actress Charlotte Kirk. But she's just not an actress. At this point in her career, she's just an actress when it comes to all the roles that she did when she came over from London at the age of 19 to pursue the dream of, becoming an actress. But around this point is when she said, man, I want to I know what I want to do. I want to make this certain type of movie that I want to star in. And she started doing that. She had a movie, The Reckoning, in 2020, The Lair in 2022, and coming out next Friday, depending on when you're listening to this, or August 9th, 2024, she has a film called Duchess that's going to come out. You can rent it VOD, digital. The trailer's amazing. I put it in the episode notes. And with that movie, she connected with Neil Marshall years before this, but they began writing. She's producing, and she's starring in these movies. And talking about some of the training she went into. Some of these roles when she became a star, she had to learn how to sword fight, ride horses, hold a gun for the first time. So lots of fun stories about her career. And she's still super young. And I'm telling you, not like, do I know who's going to be a star? No, I don't know who's going to be a star. But she has the drive. You'll hear it in the interview. The drive to become the best at. She's one of those people, I bet, no matter what she chose, she would become the best at it. She just has that mindset. She thinks in a different way than other people. And I think that's why she has the success in such a short amount of time as she has. But some stories from her career, working with Bruce Willis, even though she had small roles on a movie, really paying attention to everything that's going on. And we talked about, the silly things that I always, for some reason, ask, like, when she was a kid, did she joke around with her friends in England with doing an American accent? And then I got so nervous. If you watch the unedited interview, which is at sequelsonly.com or on our YouTube, and I linked it in the episode notes, you'll see how I was beginning to turn a tinge of red because I was very embarrassed to try my terrible British accent to somebody that actually is British. So do me a favor if you're new here, please like, share, subscribe, follow us on all social media at Sequels Only. If you go on YouTube, subscribe there too. Pretty close to getting to the point that we can start monetizing our YouTube channel. So a lot of people seem to check out the videos on there, which is cool. Or if you're listening, you're cool too. You're really cool. And be sure to check out Duchess, Friday, August 9th, 2024. Around the time we're recording this, she's actually at the premiere in LA, so that'll be cool that she can see how people are reacting to just the badass. Like, I only saw a 2-minute trailer, and I'm like, wow, I'm chomping at the bit. I can't wait to rent it next Friday. So without further ado, here is actress Charlotte Kirk.
Yeah, currently in London.
Do you ever have to come over here? Or is most of your work film-wise everywhere but the States?
Well, so I lived in LA for 10 years.
Cool.
Yeah. I moved to LA when I was 19, actually. And I moved back to the UK after COVID. But ironically, when I was living in the States, all of my movies were filming in Europe. And since I've been back here, I literally got back 2 weeks ago and I just shot 2 films in the US. So it's
Look at that. Free vacation, if you want to visit your friends back in LA, you should be back or vice versa. So that's a good way to travel.
Yeah, but the films I just shot, one was in Kansas City, Missouri, and the other one was in Mexico, so you get to see all of America.
That's really cool. So this is going to be a lot of fun. No, the reason I was saying it's so hot. I'm in New Jersey. And it is so hot. This summer has been brutal. Is it ever like that in London? Is it ever like, it's too hot?
It's not as bad as New York, but I've
really? Okay.
It's just so extreme. Extreme winters, extreme summers. No, London is just that upset. Yes, it's
So cool. What I love to obviously talk about people's credits and things like that, but I love finding out how it all began.
sure.
So what was the when you're growing up, what made you think about this field? This is like the craziest job to try to go into because there's how many people going for one job on one movie when people go out for like a regular job.
Yeah,
There's a lot of those same regular jobs out there.
yeah.
So what was it when you were younger that made you foray into acting?
There was never a defining moment. Like I was like, oh, I need to be an actress. It was not like, I hear lots of actors, filmmakers say, oh, I watched something or on stage or in a film. It was more like a progressive thing, really. Like, um, so I suffered from autism. So growing up as a kid on the spectrum and also suffering from dyslexia was tough for me. So
Wow, that's tough. Yeah.
I never really enjoyed school, to be honest. So especially the academics of English, maths, and I hated it. But then when I first stood into the classroom of my drama class, it was the first thing that really made sense to me. It was like, okay, I get this. It's just something that I love and I think I'm good at, and it just felt good and it felt like something I connected to, which I never really had before. So, and then after I finished school, I went to go to drama school. So I went to drama school here in the UK, and then literally when I was 19, someone said to me, "You want to be an actress, Charlotte? Go to the US." I was like, "Okay, sure." So packed up my
Oh my
bags.
god.
That was that.
That's crazy. So did that help with your dyslexia? Because did you tell people growing up? Like that's a hard thing to tell people. Like, hey, things are jumbled. I helped an actor. He was a big time character actor. He stopped acting like the last 10 years. But Larry Hankin, he was dyslexic, so he like still even up until it's not something that you grew out of. You learn to live with,
Yeah.
and he was working on Breaking Bad, and he couldn't do a full page. He couldn't remember it because there were so many different words and things were jumbled together. But luckily, with the magic in movie making, you can do so many different cuts, like while he's walking, to make it seem like wow, he's reciting this big speech.
Well, no, actually, it's different for me. I find memorizing lines easy.
Oh, it is okay.
Yeah, different kinds of like. Obviously, there's people on spectrum, the autistic, and then there's dyslexia. So a lot of autistic people on the spectrum have an extraordinary mind. So things that we might lack in certain areas, we make up for in others.
Yeah.
I think I've got a good photographic memory.
Nice.
But yeah, but also at the same time, it's difficult for me to, slow reader. So there's always scripts to slowly, bits that it was and letters ran the wrong way. It's a challenge. There's pros and cons. But I was talking to someone yesterday who's on the spectrum and is a filmmaker, and it's like I wouldn't change it for the world because I think it's what makes me different, and I don't think I would have taken the risks that I'd taken if I wasn't who I am.
Yeah. Hey, you're wired a certain way, and yeah, if you change any little thing, you might not be who you are today. No, I agree with that.
Yeah.
No, it's it's just fascinating. Like they're like my wife recently. My wife found out that just from I think it was during COVID, she was like really noticing things she did, and she figured out that she had like ADHD and like all these different things that you don't realize because we're a little bit older than you, but like even in '92, I bet growing up it was just like come on, just you'll learn how to do that or you'll figure it out. And more it was like maybe they can't figure it out because there's some extra help they need or guidance or education on something.
A different way of learning. I like to see as opposed to hear. And back in the day, if you were undiagnosed, they'll just stick to it after the class and say you don't want to learn a bit, and that's that. But it's got so much better today. I think a lot of creatives are different are special, shall we
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
No,
we
well, to
and
put yourself out there, like on stage and even screen,
hmm
it's something to be out there because it's you. Even if we were on set with an ensemble cast, like when you're reciting your line, everybody's looking at you. So
yeah,
you're 19, which is wow. To come out to LA, what were your parents thinking about that change? Because even you said it's not something you were really even thinking about until somebody said, "Hey, you want to try acting?" What was it at that point? They're like, "Whoa, we never knew about this acting thing, and you're gonna go, across the world."
they were very supportive. They
Awesome.
let me, they just said, look, this is what you want to do, try it. We're totally here to support you. We'll be here. We're not coming with you. We don't want to hold your
Yeah,
hand,
yeah,
but you do what you
yeah.
do, and pretty chill. So I was like, great, okay. So, and then I went to New York first. I was there for 6 months. And then I started realizing all the castings and meetings and everything was LA. So then I quickly moved to LA. Um, and yeah, I was there for a good 10 years.
Wow. So in New York, what were you doing? Just like you said, just trying to take meetings and things like that. Were you doing acting school, or are you thinking about
Yeah,
like
actually, I went to
school or?
went to well, so I did drama school in the UK, and then I
Oh, okay.
do some vaccine in New York, and then when I went to LA, I went to Lee Strasberg and
Oh,
Judith
wow.
Weston and all this stuff. So I always like to continue working, trying out new things. Especially back then, testing what works for me, the Croatian
Yeah.
method.
And those are some different methods. Like I'm sure there's people that are coming up like that. Maybe that'd be a method that people always use, but some of those, especially Strasbourg, that's like there'd be a whole class like you're snoring or sleeping and doing these different quirks. No.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, found everything usually, a lot of the acting techniques come from the two foundations of Stanislavski and Meisner,
Yep.
Stanislavski. Um, and then, you just as an actor, as you go along, you just take what works for you,
Yeah.
and every project you learn more and I've learned recently just kind of to let it go and trust myself and go with my gut. And I think that's ultimately, you just do whatever works for you.
Yeah. Wow. So you're out in LA, you're 19, 20-ish. What was the first steps from there? Just still the same thing, taking meetings, or you're already like, just, I want to get my feet wet?
Yeah, taking meetings, going to auditions, and being there for quite a long time, I managed to get some roles, some smaller roles, some bigger roles, and like just like before my company, just being in the LA that period of time as an actress, I was lucky enough to work with Bruce Willis,
Yeah.
uh, in Vice, and
What a awesome. I rewatched that last night. I saw it because that was like, again, there's all these booms like in movies, like the 80s were like the box office, the 90s were like the TV movie. But I would say like that late 2010s, like the late 2000s, 2010s, that was like the red box and like
yeah,
those type of movies, like it was like straight to DVD in a sense, but that
mhm.
movie was so good. Like it has
Yeah,
like
no, Vice,
Thomas
yeah,
Jane's are in, Jonathan Skake, who was married to Christina Applegate in the 90s. So you have all
yeah,
these different people, and you're
yeah,
like, you expect like intensity in a movie, but I almost forgot how intense it was. Like
yeah.
your scene, that is like
Yeah,
horrific.
yeah, it was. Um, and then I was still pretty green when I shot that. I was still
That's
very,
2015 it
very.
came out, so that's still like you're probably 21 or 22, which is wild.
I know. I was exactly, and that was before or after. Like my first main leading role, I would say, was No Panic with a Hint of Hysteria, which was a full cast comedy with Stephen Baldwin, who was absolutely great.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
Great place filmmakers came to LA to cast it, and they actually found me at Judith Weston um, on stage there, and yeah, it was amazing. It was so much fun. Shoot Warsaw in January. absolutely freezing. And it was like my first real kind of experience of, so it's like they're working with Bruce Willis, which is absolutely incredible. And then and then after that, taking a leap into, carrying co-starring, carrying a movie for the first time, comedy, which was is not easy to do. A fast comedy.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was really, really cool. And then, I was lucky enough to do small roles in big movies like Ocean's 8 and How to Be Single. And then really it was just before COVID, and I was like, okay, so getting the roles. Now, I know what roles I want to play. I have difficulties to get those roles, the competition and the opportunity, the lack of opportunities. But then finding a good script is even harder. So finding a script is one thing. Finding a good script with a female character is even more difficult.
Yeah.
So I thought I'm going to try and create my own. Like I feel like that's the only way. I want to put my destiny in my own hands and not have to rely on anyone or wait for anyone. And at that time, that's when I met Neil, and me and Neil Marshall kind of partnered together. And I mean, Duchess now would have been like our full film that we've made together.
Yeah.
The first one was The Reckoning, that we shot. That came out during COVID, so it should have before COVID, and it was straight up horror, and it was really interesting. So it was my first time writing and producing. Neil was obviously a very well established horror writer, director. It was a great combination because everyone asked me, "Oh, how was it writing with him?" But it was a great combination, great balance. That he was coming at it as a very experienced writer director, and I was coming at it from, okay, I'm an actress, and this is how I would see this, and it was great. It was really, really, we worked really well together.
That's awesome.
And yeah, The Reckoning is, I was very proud of it. It was very scary at the time because I was producing it, and it was all very new. It was like, okay, let's go for it. I have, this is.
But the fact that you did that, like, I've talked to a few people that the same scenario you're talking about, like, hey, I want to play a certain role, or like DB Sweeney in like the 80s when he was in acting school in New York, he just like couldn't get into the plays that he wanted to. Yeah. So he wrote one, and he had this dumpy theater, and he put signs everywhere on every telephone pole. Somebody came in out of like the 10, 15 people. One guy just happened to be the right person to see him, and then he got cast in all these movies. So it's like, it's cool that you thought about that, because it's like always, sometimes you get to 40, 50 years old, and you're like, man, I wish I would have done blank when I was younger. So it's so great that early in your career, you thought, okay, I love these roles that I'm getting. Like you said, like, these are like big picture movies. So at least while you're on set and working, you could see how everything goes, see how everything works, and you learn what to do, what not to do, like what you wouldn't do as a lead. You see another lead maybe blow people, you know what I mean? So it's cool that at that point you're like, I'm going to do this. So what was the time frame from you having that idea to that movie, like being like 2020? Because that's a big thing to take on without having that writing experience.
Well, because Neil would be very successful.
That's true, yeah.
Writing, so I think that helps you, a lot.
But still to have the confidence to do it, because that is a process, like working with someone else on anything, but to write, that is something that it's a great collaborative experience.
It was amazing. And I tried to come up with some pretty good ideas, because it was great in regards to, he was stuck. I just can't get through everything. So it's The Reckoning. It's about a witch. I just don't want to I don't know about the witch movie. I don't want to make it hocus pocusy. And I was like, what if there's no witches? I was like, that's it. The light bulb went off. It's like, this is where the actor director, the contrast comes in very well. And then after that film, that came out during COVID. went to cinemas, on some walls. It was like, I'm really, really proud of that film. Like my first film, and again, coming back during COVID, which was a challenge, but yeah,
Oh
RLJ,
yeah.
Charlotte, they were great. And then during COVID, me and Neil were like, okay, so we want to make a film during COVID. What can we do? Let's make, home invasion, very small cast, one location, COVID friendly. Unfortunately, Neil can't write low budget horror movies, but low budget anything. So they turned out to be a epic monster movie set in Afghanistan, about a British fighter pilot that gets shot down by insurgents and has to literally save the whole. Well, I don't want to do another one. Well, it's out anyway, so you
Yeah.
can see it. But so we shot that during COVID. Like, it was just one of those things where it was tough because there was lots of current restrictions, but we got a great cast for that. And again, that was like completely different, right? So it was, The Reckoning was a period horror. I had to learn how to sword fight for the first. I've never done that before. I had to learn how to ride a horse. So that was one thing. And then The Lair was even more challenging because I had to learn how to fire AK-47. I never held a gun before in my life. I was like, okay, I did look like I was a badass British fighter pilot.
Yeah.
And
It was believable. I watched the movie and I thought
fantastic.
the action right there was it was really cool. There were some really like challenging things especially being your first time doing a lot. I'm sure you did some stunts in The Reckoning and other movies, but when you have the guy on you and you're rolling with him and you have the gun in the other, like that's pretty badass.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And I think, screw yeah, you're right. It's that sort of action, really. I mean, there is action.
Oh yeah, the opening movie, you would think if you just watched that beginning of the movie, if that was a trailer, you would think you're watching like a lone survivor, like kind of like female driven, like army movie. But it's cool that it's like kind of like that's why sometimes it's good to go into a movie when you don't see the trailer and don't know what the full movie is about. Because you have that, like that would have blown me away if I didn't read about or watch the trailer. Because how much it changes when you go in to the door that's open and then it's like, all right, well, that's wild. Like you survive something like that. And it's like, oh, what's next?
Yeah. Was it?
Yeah.
And then all these amazing, other ensemble characters come into it who are great. And I'm really proud of that one as well. But then this is big. So we made The Reckoning and The Lair, both horror films. And then me and Neil were like, what are we going to do next? And then we were sitting there one day and it's like, it would be amazing to make like thanks. Like, the great 80s, the Goodfellas, the Scarface, the Layer Cake, Box Starch. I haven't seen a good dance movie in quite some time, really. But what about it was a female one? I haven't seen that before. We were at Duchess before, Queen of the South, Bonnie of the Sparrow, all these other films and TV shows came along. I mean, they wrote it in 2018 and shot it in 2022, so it's quite some time in the making.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. I mean, some people, one studios said, we'll buy the script off you, but, we want to make it for a lot more. We want to control it. We probably want Charlize Theron to play the lead. I'm like, well, that's not going to happen. I'd rather make it for nothing and do it ourselves. Like, no, this was our baby. This was, and I think it showed, I'm really, really proud of it. I'm really, really proud of this one. It's a lot of people ask me, what about like, what genre do you like? Do you like, I like all genres. It's not really about the genre, it's about the story and the character. That's it. And with Duchess, I just felt it's so character driven. Yeah, she's just like this. And what I liked about Neil's Weinstein, we co-wrote it, but he likes to write regular, normal people in extraordinary circumstances.
She's not that. It's my favorite genre.
Exactly. She's not a spy or a superhero. She's just a regular girl. But, well, she got tough. She's a petty thief from southeast London, a bit rough around the edges. She's a boxer. And she meets this man and they fall in love. He's a head of a cartel. And I don't give spoilers, but it's about love and betrayal and power. And ultimately she ends up taking over that. So, that's what I find exciting about it, because I get it, it's sold as an action film, which is great, but it's not just an action film. It's got layers and
Hmm.
substance. It's got something to say,
Yeah.
and I think that's it's disguised as an action film, action gangster film, but it's a lot more than that.
Yeah. Great trailer. And that comes out August 9th, right?
August 9th, yeah. The premiere is August 6th. Love for you to come, but I hear you're in Jersey, right? Because it's in LA.
Yeah.
LA on August
Oh, it's
6th.
going to be in LA? Oh, that's cool. Awesome.
Yeah. So, I'm so excited. I'm so
Were you
happy
able
with-
to do these for your other movies? The reason I asked is with COVID, obviously I'm guessing The Reckoning, that was during
Yeah, so like there
COVID,
was
so you
so
couldn't
many
do
great-
that.
Yeah, so many great festivals, The Reckoning, that we missed. They were virtual, like Fantasia and Fright Fest. We missed them all, which sucks. It was really bad. The Lair, we went to Fright Fest, we opened Fright Fest. That was super cool. Duchess, we haven't really done any festivals yet, to be honest. I mean, it's not horror, so there's it's slightly more difficult. But we're actually submitting Compulsion. Our next film is coming out next year, which is more horror. We're gonna, that's going into a few festivals. So, but yeah, so that just comes out August 9th.
Wow, that's cool. No, the trailer looks awesome. I feel like Saban Films is like the new. I don't even know what studio it's related to, like in the 90s or 2000s, but they have a lot of like really decent, awesome movies coming out.
In when, sorry?
Oh, Saban Films.
Oh, Saban.
Saban. Oh, is that how
Saban.
you say it?
Yes, but
Oh my
Saban's
God, I've said that
yeah.
wrong
No,
my
it's
whole
okay.
life.
Saban. No, because there's
Because
another.
they did like
studio-
Power Rangers and they did all of those shows in the 90s, right? Same.
Exactly. It's exactly. Yeah, it's very interesting. Boris, Saban, and Power Rangers, exactly. I'm so happy. I think they're a great home for it. It's actually being released here in the UK on the 12th, so quite soon afterwards. And Russia are doing a big release on it as well. They love the film.
Nice.
So I'm so excited about it. I think it's a lot of love, and it was, stress as always for making a film, going into this, and a lot of fun. And I think that shows, especially the fun. As I said, it was tough to make. We shot it during COVID, well, just after COVID. But with me, I had COVID during filming. Neil got COVID during. Yeah,
Oh, man.
it was very, very, very challenging shoot. But it overcome, and it's here now. Come what man, it overcame many things.
Yeah, you made it. So what on the producing side, what are some of the things that do you enjoy doing on the producing side?
Honestly, not that much.
Not that much?
No, it's kind of, I mean, it's nice to like have the control to have a project and see it from start to finish, see it from the development of the script and then from the release of the film. I love all that. That's nice. But the whole day to day and the logistics and the numbers and that's the stuff I hate and that bores me. The team. No, it's not. I just do it out of necessity, really, to make the films that I want to make and to have a role that I want to have. Yeah, that's it. When I'm an actress, it's very important. Like when I'm an actress, I'm on set. That's it. I'm not a producer. Like that's like the actress. My director's the director, and that's that. It's just I like to come in, hand it over to who needs to do it, and do my job as an actor.
Yeah. So have you ever worked with anyone that was acting and directing on the same film? I think that I don't know how people do that.
No, so I just finished the film. Just said about the two films I just finished in the US. I just finished shooting with Dolph Lundgren, who is amazing.
Nice.
And Dolph actually directed and acted in a film, and I was like, "How did you do that? It's like an angel." I don't even know how you even do that. It's like talent beyond belief. But yeah, that's really cool. So that's coming out next year with Saban. I'll pick that up as well.
Look at that.
Yeah, it's so good. It's called Fight or Flight. And that literally is a full-on action film, about assassins and all the good stuff. It does what it says on the tin. Lots of action.
Yeah.
Dolphin, Michael J. White. It's a real fun one.
Oh, nice.
When unprecedented times are all the time, it's time to start walking the talk with PwC. Leaders like you turn to PwC to see and stay ahead. Upskill your workforce, use intelligent automation, and transform big ideas into breakthrough outcomes. Explore the human-led, tech-powered solutions that help you thrive. It's all part of PwC. Learn more at pwc.com.
That is cool.
Yeah.
So it's kind of crazy, like when you think about when you moved here at 19, so that's like 2011, and then just think that's not that far after, and like look at the, like, not the niche that you carved, but like you got to the point that you're making movies that you want to make for yourself. But along the way, what were some of the, even though I know there weren't like big roles that you're probably not on set for some of them not too long, but like you have like a role in like Nonstop, the Liam Neeson movie.
Yeah,
and that was like early on. Even your first credit is Fractured, which is like
Yeah. It's true.
you're getting a big movie. It's not like it's like a TV movie, like not knocking like people's first credits or anything, but it's cool that it's like on an actual film with a budget, and you get to like see how movies are made right from the jump.
Yeah, and I think that was a big part of it. A big part of where I am today is surrounding myself with people that are where I want to be. More, people that are making movies, producing movies, directing movies, and learning from that. I think that you hit the nail on the head. That's exactly right. I was surrounded by people that helped me a lot and educated me and guided me on where I need to go and what I need to be doing. But also just surrounding yourself with great creatives, like great filmmakers. Having Neil as my business partner for 4 movies, and then collaborating now with other filmmakers. That's the key thing. It's a collaborative experience, whichever project you work with. But you're right, exactly. So I love Angela that. But you're right. It's all about that you're right. At the beginning, I've never looked at it that way. At the beginning, the credits are quite big, considering. I just fresh off.
Yeah, I just think it's always great when it's like anything, you go out for something. Again, this is something you want to do, and you were born to do it, and like it's not an easy thing. So just for you to make that leap, it's not like you lived in LA and were like, I'm gonna go down the street, try this thing. If it doesn't work, I'll do something else. You uprooted yourself. Which is not easy. Most people don't do that. Most people stay in their hometown their whole life. So it is just to put yourself out there like that, but to be able to start your career off. Yeah, that's why, right?
That's why, because if it was easy, if it was, you just said, just go down the street, see what happens, then
totally.
If failure is an option, it's probably going to happen. If failure isn't an option, it's not going to happen. But I don't believe in having a plan A, or I didn't have a plan A or option. It's twice. I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm doing it. I'll see what happens. But I was like, I'm going to do it. But that's it.
Yeah. I think the people that are still in the industry, I'm sure there's people that maybe like they're in it for a few years, and you might ask them that question. It's like, oh, how long have you been doing this? Oh, a year or two. Maybe they're not going to be there in 5 or 10 or 15 or 20. But I feel like you have to have that mindset that there's no plan B, because as soon as you think of that, maybe like your choices in an audition or a scene you want to give it all in that moment, because you never know if there's going to be another take, right?
Yeah, exactly. You've got to be all in 100%. I think if you've got something to fall back on, it's like, oh, okay, it's the easy way. It's just, you've got to be all in. You can't have any backup. For me anyway.
Yeah. No, I think it's a lot of people I talk to, and I talk about this. It's always that, whether it's the guy who is the voice of, now he's the voice of Bert on Sesame Street, but he's been a puppeteer for Jim Henson for a long time. And his thing was he knew, I should know his name, Kevin something. He was the voice of Elmo. And then he like went down, did something for like a day. And then the guy's like, "Are you gonna go back home?" And he's like, "No, can I just stay on your couch? Because I think then something's gonna happen." And he like stayed on this guy's couch, like trying to find odds and ends jobs for like 3 weeks. And like an opening happened, and he was there when they called, because if you went back home, it would. I think so many people have those stories. Like,
Yeah.
I would watch. That's why I love asking that question.
Yeah. Just go get
'Cause
out of that system and see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like you can't like this is like an all or nothing thing, you know. It's creative. You can't just like half paint the Mona Lisa, right? Or half. It's
Yeah.
you gotta do it and love it. And it's so difficult. If you don't love it, do something else. It's not worth the pain
Yeah.
and the heartache, or it's just not worth it. Just it's so difficult if you can't live and breathe it all day every day, then really you shouldn't be doing it. You really shouldn't.
No, agreed. And because people will know that, like the casting director, producer, director, they'll know like, this person's not really, they're not giving it all. And that's what you see. Like there's like the genre of like the people of yesteryear, not like some actors that are still putting it in. Like when you put on a movie and it's like, they seem like they're like reading their lines off of a wall. Or they're just like, I just need to go back to my trailer, like as fast as I can. And
Yeah.
you can like, you notice that, like
Yeah,
when
you
you watch those films.
You do, and the energy on set. That's why I think it's so important to have that good energy and chemistry on sets. It shows.
Yeah.
That's why, like with Duchess, it shows that we all had. Yeah, it was tough making it, but it shows that it was the love and the passion and the dedication that went into it. It really does. It does show, 100%.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that movie.
Yeah.
What was that?
I said the camera never lies.
Oh no, you're right. No, I can't wait to see Duchess because the trailer is just so good. It is like the way it was put together. Were you involved in the process of that? Like
no. Saban did that.
They do that, yeah. It was good.
Yeah, so good. Just enough away, but not too much.
Yeah.
Not much.
So another movie that you were in, again, you had like a small role in it, but another like Bruce Willis movie. But another really good movie that I think more people should see is Marauders. That's an awesome movie. Him and Christopher Maloney is a really good thing that you would never think of those two because you think of Maloney, SVU, and not really too many movie roles. And you think of Bruce, like what he is. And it's like you have these guys that, again, one of those perfectly written genre of we're going to have the big name guy like a Bruce Willis, but we're not going to use him too much because of the cost of it. But they use him in the perfect way, I think.
Yes. That's the beauty about producing when you get a great producer that's like, oh, we've got this big star. We've got this many days. How can you get the most out of him for the time we have him? And yeah, you're right. That was brilliantly executed on that. Yeah, that was a great film. You're right.
Yeah, it's really cool. How the masks are very sinister looking, and Maloney's great in it. No, just an awesome cast. But no, I think that's an art of producing like that. Those budgets of films. Like I talked to a guy that did a very low budget movie. I can't think of the name of it. I feel bad, but Eric Roberts, who I interviewed, was in it. And Eric told, after I talked to Eric Roberts, the guy reached out to me and said, "Oh, I saw you talk to Eric. Would you want to watch my movie?" So I watched it. And then I talked to the guy afterwards, and he only used Eric for like a half a day. But when you watch the movie, you would just think he was, it was so smart. His character was basically like a guy pulling the strings for everything, which they outline throughout the movie. But it is so cool. And I'm like, wow, you really, because some other movies you're like, wait, he's in that movie? And it's like one scene of him like, and you're like, wait, it's not even an impactful scene that you're using this big name for. So I think obviously there's restrictions of budgets, but it's also like, how do you use that money to use that name that you're going to put on the poster so people know that, oh, okay, this is a movie that they're in?
100%. That is so true.
It's a hard thing.
Yeah, it is. And especially now it's getting more difficult because you're knowing that, you've only got them for a few days. Okay, so, they need to be in it for this amount of time for it to work.
Yeah. Do you know the first time, like looking back, like, again, it's not like you've been doing this for a long, long time. Usually I'm talking to people in like 80s and 90s, but still, it's been 13 years since you arrived in the States. Do you remember a point, even though this is something that you wanted to do, that you felt like I can really do this? Like for like long term wise, I know there was no plan B, but was there when you got a role in a certain movie or something that you're like, all right, this is my life? Or was it always your life?
No, I would say like when I guess gained more confidence is when I did The Reckoning, because I realized then I don't have to rely on anyone else. Like I don't have to wait for the phone to ring, rely on auditions, wait for someone to hire me. I can produce and write good enough that I can create my own movies. So worst case scenario, if I don't get another job, I can make my own movies. I think that was a time when I realized that.
That's awesome. How did you take that as being like the number one on the call sheet? Was that like a significant change? Not like the way you acted. It's not like they move your name up and you're like acting different or something, but there's gotta be some like certain responsibilities that you feel.
Yeah, I mean, looking back on it now, but I don't like to think like that. Like that just gives me extreme anxiety, like pressure. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
no, I'm very like, no, I couldn't even think of that. I'm number one on the call sheet. I've got this horrible, this crazy, huge responsibility. No, I couldn't think like that.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
just, I mean, look at the call sheet. I looked at the call sheet, but now, okay, what are the scenes for the day, and that's it. I don't want to know about anything else. I don't want to
Yeah,
see
yeah.
all the time limits we have, or 12-hour
Yeah.
days, French hours. No, I was. But looking back on it now, that is true. That is true. You a huge responsibility. 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, especially number one on the call sheet. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, anytime I think you're a principal, it's like very key for just the whole rest of the cast. Because like you said, it's a huge collaboration.
Yeah.
But then it's almost like the boss is that person or the director. So it's like if they're setting a good example, if they're on time and they're ready for the shot, they're acting professional, everybody else can act professional. Yeah. So again, for you and me thinking about that, it's like, well, why wouldn't I act like that? But it's like there's so many and there's reasons that why people do it that make sense, that don't make sense. But no, I think that's just so fascinating how quick that happened in your career. So did you ever keep mementos? Did you ever think of that? Obviously, like of the time you started, there was like cell phones and cameras on phones. So you take pictures of things. But did you ever keep like for scripts or anything?
I always try and take a prop. I always try and take something.
Ooh, that I like that.
Always, like in The Reckoning, where I play a fighter pilot. I took my doc tag.
That's cool.
The Reckoning, I took
a sword.
I wish. Couldn't get that on the plane. Oh, I did my necklace. That was symbolic.
Nice.
With the cross. All things that I had to just take in my pocket, and maybe the costume wouldn't know. No, I would always ask.
Yeah, right.
I would always take something. I always usually some kind of costume, and it could be worth a lot more. You have never know.
Yes, and it's just a cool keepsake to have. Like,
it's so cool.
Especially something that's like huge. You don't want to be like, yeah, here's the chair from the scene in this movie.
No, it's got to be something personal and something that I've carried with me throughout the film.
Yeah.
But I always like to take something all the way.
That's great
for a rainy day.
Yeah. No, I always love asking that question because you never have like that, like the wherewithal, even as like a kid. Like I always see like, I'm sure it's been written in books and it's like an old quote, but you never know like that last time that the neighborhood, you and your friends in the neighborhood will like get together, play hide and go seek or something. You never like, there's never like that time when it's like, or your high school friends like, hey guys, this will be the last time we hang out. Like you never say that. It just happens. Just like when you work on a movie, it's not like you're thinking like, okay, I'm going to take something because people just don't think of it. There's so much going on. You're on set. You're like, oh my God, where do I look? Where do I keep my hands? And then you leave and you're like, I don't have anything.
No, the last day, it's always bittersweet. And I'm like, oh my God, I have to take something. You take your costume off. Class try that. Oh my God, I need to take something. I need to remember something of this beautiful memory. Yeah.
No, that's cool that you do that. And I love that. I think it's just such a cool thing that people do that. I always love the answers because they're always random. Like this one guy worked on the first season of The Shield. He was the director of photography, and he took like like an airplane that Michael Chiklis like throws or
Pretty
or a
cool.
matchbook. I forgot what it was. It was in the last shot, and he was like, "I'm gonna take." So he like had that on his desk when we were talking. I'm like, "That's so cool." There are always like these random things for movies that people work
Yeah.
on, like Blade Runner. All those guys were taking the set pieces. The one guy used it as a doorstop. Like these like
Any
silly,
that.
yeah.
Take
Just
any-
from any movie you get a chance to, because it's an experience when you're on set. It's like going to camp. You're with these people for 3-4 months. You form friendships. You become like a family
Dude,
because no one else is close, right?
you so become a family, and then you just like you just on so close, then woof, it's finished so quickly. Then on to the next
Yeah.
one. It's that.
And then you see him in 10 years and you're like, oh my gosh, I remember you from Nonstop or whatever movie you're on. you
what
know?
happened? What happened?
Yeah.
Where did the time go? I know, it's crazy. I always love it. It's so cool. And but memories.
Yeah.
You
Good
know?
memories to have. And then obviously you have the memories of the film forever. You have the film or the project that you worked on. So throughout your career, was there like obviously doing stunts like I don't know if you would have went back in time and told yourself in 2011 like, hey, you're going to be this badass and you're going to be shooting guns, swinging swords. Well, when was the first time that you did like stunts on set? Like for Tekken, did you do anything? Were you fighting in that movie?
I was a little bit, but to be honest, like I would say The Reckoning was the first time where it was like, okay,
Really? Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
learn to horse ride, learn
That
to
was everything. That is like your moment.
yeah,
Like that movie because the writing, producing, like riding a horse, sword. That's
everything. Yeah, taking like all the other things, there was smaller things that I had to learn.
mm,
You know, learning a few steps, a few beats, but not like to the extent that I'm like, choreographing a whole scene like a dance, like fight scene, and learning a new skill. I think it would terrify me if I was like told my 19-year-old self this is what I'd be doing, you know. And then bit by bit, like every movie's different. Every movie you've got a chance to start over and be better. And obviously you take your skills, what you learned from the previous one, to the next one, so you just get better.
yeah, no.
But yeah, The Reckoning was crazy, huh?
That's the moment, yeah. But no,
Yeah.
female-driven action movies, it's just a genre that should just be. There should be more of it. Like there should just be revenge movies. Like they have them every so many years, and they're like good. And then it's like, all right, where's more? And then there's not more. But then there's like, the male-driven ones. Like, all right, we've seen the same story over and over again. Like, all right, the guy loses his family. And there's just not anything different for like the female. Like
Well-
Peppermint was really good.
Yeah. Well, that was
It wasn't a
big
great
about-
movie, but I'm saying like it was like to see.
for a woman. The woman.
Yes, for a woman-driven movie. Yeah.
That was, I think, one of the big inspiration for this film. The Duchess was Man on Fire, right? So
Oh, nice. Yeah.
build up, so you get to know and love and care about the characters. So when something happens, you actually care. I think Peppermint, something happened in the first 2 minutes, like 5 minutes. It's like, really?
Yeah. No, what? It was rushed. No, it definitely was. But
You
to see
gotta-
her in that light, I think sometimes when you see an actress or an actor in a different kind of role, because now I just think of her in the Capital One, and I know she did like action. She did the action series in like the 90s, I think Alias, I think,
Yeah.
or in the 2000s. But mostly like comedy, silly like rom-coms. So it's
Yeah.
different to see her in that type of role. But no, it's good to. It's just such a great genre that's like sort of untapped. So it's cool that movie is going to be coming out next month.
Yes, I'm so excited about that one because I think it's a long time. You know, it's been a while. As you said, Peppermint and a few others, but not many at
No.
all.
No, not at all. Now, one I have to ask about, but it's in pre-production. But like the Juice, did that start filming at all, or just still
No,
in
about
those
half of
stages?
we shot half of it, or
You did?
yeah. So this half the film is about Nicole Brown, and the other half is telling their story. they'll be shot half of it, and then probably happens, and then the strike happens, and all that stuff. So
so when did this start? This started. Oh, you filmed this like in 2019, 2020?
Yeah.
Wow.
In a minute. Yeah, I know, crazy.
That is crazy.
That's a whole other chat.
Obviously you do look like her. Like, so I don't know how did that come about? Did you open casting, or did somebody say, hey, I saw this girl in this movie and she looks just like Nicole Brown?
The director saw me on stage when I was on performing something in LA. And he saw me on stage, and he was actually writing the script during that time. He said, "Oh, you remind me of someone. Oh my God, you remind me of Nicole Brown Simpson. You look like Nicole Brown Simpson." And I was kind of heavily involved in the process of that and the development of that. And that was quite something. I mean, it was OJ knew about it. He wanted me to go and visit him in prison. He wanted to be part of it and narrate it. I know, it was quite something. But it was amazing. Boris Pojo played OJ. He was amazing. And yes, the way it was, that was another challenge, right? Is the responsibility of really playing a real life person, and her in particular. So, yes, that was.
Yeah. No, it's got to be difficult. Was it, what kind of research, or did they do that for you?
No, I did.
So much. No, I'm not saying you didn't do any research. I mean, like, talking with the family. Like, is that something that you did?
Not on this project in particular. It's very, very, very sensitive matter.
No, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, the script is very in depth, and talking to the director and the producers, and reading many books on the topic, and the trial, and all of that. There's a lot of stuff.
It's just hard. Yeah. To play someone's got to be hard. I talked to an actress that played Anna Nicole Smith, and it's like, wow, yeah. It's so like Nicole Brown. Like, obviously there was like video and
not much,
like home videos and stuff of her, but not as much as like nowadays. You can like, there's just like almost like too much. It's just to play an actual person. That's like such a responsibility. But that's cool that you took the time to like read the books and learn about her. And
oh my God, especially who's the victim and no longer with us. And yeah, so that was a challenging one for me, sure. But amazing. Again, amazing experience, but very different. Not so much, there's no action in that one, but challenging in other ways.
Oh yeah. Yeah, to be able just to, because there's only like, especially with all the different teachings that you did when you were like in New York and LA, there's just so many routes that people can go. Like when you're looking for any role, whether it's playing a real person or not, it can be like, hey, this person's stays at home by themselves all the time. They're a hermit. They don't talk to anybody. So you're okay, cool. I got that. Or some people will be like, let me call and try to find somebody to learn about them. Yeah. Like there's all these different ways of people like getting into a role. Now with her, was there anything with the voice? Like, did you listen to voice recordings to try to do anything?
There was a couple of clips of her on YouTube, but again, not many at all. And of course, the famous 9 minutes. Yeah. So listening to that on the beat. Right. But again, when you play someone, you don't want to mimic them. You want to understand and as much as possible, but not mimic them, because I don't think that's have your own interpretation in a way, but do it as close as possible.
It's like a hard thing, right? Like, I forgot what I just heard an interview with someone, and they were talking about the same thing, that they were, man, I wish I would have known what show it was. It was basically like a documentary, but like a real telling of it, like with the cast. And it was like, we're doing it like they did it, but we're doing it our own way. But it's so weird to think of it like that, because when you're watching things, sometimes you're like, oh, that person wouldn't act like that, or they don't look like in the Clippers documentary series that's on FX right now. Like, a lot of the players don't look like the real players that are in the NBA. Yeah. But the story behind, I think it was Ed O'Neill, was talking about it. He was making the rounds doing interviews, and he was just talking about like how difficult it is to actually play. Like, in his case, he played a guy that turned out to be like a real skeezy kind of guy. But it's just like this weird fine line. Like, you can be too the same, and then it's like, oh, well, why don't you put your own spin on it? And it's
That
like, oh, okay, you put your own spin on it.
yeah.
It's like nobody's ever happy, but it depends on, how you like the product when it's, so hopefully it comes out next year. That'd be cool.
Yes. I'm excited about that one. It's gonna be
Yeah.
it's very, very different. Very, very different to the ones I've been doing. So yeah, hopefully next year on that one.
And it hasn't been done yet that I know. Maybe there was like a TV movie about them too, but I've never seen anything like that. So it should be.
It's a new one.
It should be interesting.
Very, very different. Very, very different, that one. Very different to the ones that I've done and the ones I have coming out. So yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. No, to play a person like I forgot what the lady's name was that was in Florida, that the girl that threw her baby out the window. God, I should know her name. The crazy woman, God, it was like a big trial here in the States, and then
yeah.
But anyway,
Yes.
I should know her name. But I talked to an actress that played her in like a Lifetime special, and she really didn't have a lot of lines, but she had to like reenact her. So she was like doing a lot of research.
Wow.
And it just so happens the casting people, obviously they're doing their job. They casted like a baby that looked just like the baby. Like that looked so similar, and so her emotions, she's like, yeah, so those emotions in that scene, like I was really like crying because it was like so like traumatic. And she's like, it wasn't even something I went through. It was a role that I was researching for a few months. So it's so hard to so that's cool that you took that. That's a challenge. That's great that you, again, 8 years you're in the States and an opportunity like that comes up and you're just like, all right, I'll do it.
Yeah, I've got to do it. I've got to do it.
Yeah.
My motto is on a rough.
So how'd you
something I did do and what I didn't do, Very.
Oh, exactly. No, that's a great mindset to have. So what made you get on stage? Was that just something you always wanted to do, or somebody recommended it to you?
Well, I've done stage, I've done theatre in the UK and in drama.
Oh, okay.
And then, yeah, I love stage. So obviously something completely different to the being on set. Yeah, I found a really cool little theatre in LA, and obviously Strasbourg in LA, and it's just exercising, working those muscles as well, Very, very different. I feel like if you do stage, you can be on set all day long and it's a walk in the park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you get the instant gratification. I think that's what actors love, is when you say your line and they do what you say.
Yeah.
The audience like reacts in the way that you wrote it or the way that you wanted them to feel. Obviously, you can get that on opening night.
Yes.
So when you're sitting there in LA for Duchess, you'll be able to see people and you're like, oh, that's what I wanted in that scene.
Exactly.
But again, that's months or years after you close out a project sometimes. But that's in the same sense, it's a difficult part too, because if you do something and it's like, oh wait, they didn't react the way I wanted to. But you know what's great? Is you can try again at the evening show or the next day.
Exactly. It is. But it is the most rewarding part, actually. You're right. Like, the premiere in a few weeks, I'm so excited about, just to see the reactions and hearing them and hopefully enjoying, laughing, maybe crying. And yeah, that's the really fun stuff. Apart from being on set, just getting the reaction. Oh yeah, it's so rewarding. So rewarding.
Do you do that for your movies? Like non-premieres, do you go into the movie theater and maybe like throw a trench coat on, a hat, maybe like a fake mustache, and sit there and watch the movie with the fans?
Can you make sure you all laugh at this time? Oh, that was so funny. Oh, that's fun, guys. Yeah, I hope I don't have to do that on Duchess. I'm hoping not. But so far, there's been a great response from the trailer, so I'm hoping people are going to respond to the movie the same way.
No, totally. No, I think it's cool when actors or directors like go to the movies, just to go to like a random showing and see people react to their movie. I talked to this guy that directed like this ninja movie, Revenge of the Ninja, in the 80s. And he like went to like a random movie theater, I think in Brooklyn. And he was like leaving and he saw these kids doing like ninja kicks outside. And he's like, oh my God.
That's so
we're like, it works.
That is
like
so
art.
Cool. That's awesome. And like when people quote you or, oh, that is so cool. Just to get any really. It doesn't really matter as long as you get an emotion think that's the main thing. You can get an emotion wherever that is, you're in and where you got to get into that. So that's audiences today are quite desensitized because there's so much out there, there's so much content. You got to really hit hard and and that was kind of the role of Duchess. Go big or go home. Go as big and outrageous as possible. I think that's, you got to. It's literally this movie, this kind of subjects, gangster movie. You've got to go all out. I think.
Yeah. No, you're right. There's like so much content now, which is kind of in one sense it's good because people can get their films out there, but in one sense it's like too much. So it's like this weird.
Exactly.
You don't know how to feel. Like no matter what, like it doesn't work out, whichever way you think about it sometimes. But no, it's gonna be really cool. This has been so much fun. Do you have what I always like to ask people too is obviously your keepsakes. I loved your answer on that, like things you wear throughout a movie, which is really cool because it's part of you, part of your character. But like if you didn't do this at 19, if somebody didn't say, hey, do you want to pick up everything and go to the States? What would you be doing right now, you think?
Well, I love and adore animals. Like my in The Reckoning, one of the roles is Molly. That's named after our dog, Molly Fryer. She's a cute dog. I'm definitely rescuing dogs. I'm just kind of obsessed, and yes, they are. I'll be working with dogs. Something very, very different. Yeah. I didn't think about doing anything else. I don't know. Dogs or something creative, I guess. Something else creative or working with animals. Rescue dogs. Yeah.
And then another, I haven't talked to too many people from England, but I wonder if when you're growing up, is it funny to do an American accent to make people like your friends laugh?
Yeah, like it's different. It's very different. Actually, in Duchess, the opening scene I had a American accent. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you got a little twist and turn that you see. Yeah.
Nice. All right.
I always love doing an accent. It's always fun.
No, I know. It just as a kid, like here, it's like something British. It's like you try to do the most terrible, and I can't even do it at all. And I wouldn't even try because now I'm nervous thinking about it. But like, I think it's so funny to think like, oh, here, it's like, oh, let me try this like British accent. I always wondered like, oh, in England, if you're growing up, is it like trying to do like an American accent because
and you have to, it's just part of the training. You have to be able to do an American accent. That is so important. I love it. You have to work on it a bit more, but it's necessary, I think. In this day, a lot of films are about American stories, and especially when I was living in America, if that's what the role requires, the Southern accent's always fun. I like the Southern accent.
Southern, yeah, no, Southern's good. It's so funny when you think about this. The United States have people say I don't have like a where I live accent. Like when I lived in Oregon, people didn't think I was from New Jersey because I didn't say like water or coffee. Like these weird and me and my wife the same thing. We went to high school together in Central New Jersey, so I don't know, maybe like skipped over us or something, but we don't have that thick accent. But so many dialects throughout just the United States, but even in England,
yes,
it is like the Cockney accent. I met a girl that had that accent, and it was wild.
Did she talk like
because
that?
I know that's the way she grew up.
Did you know?
Yes.
Well, I thought it felt yeah, that's just a bit like that.
Yeah, nice.
Did you get it? Duchess and that in the voice, it wasn't too much, so I wanted people to understand me. But it was pretty Cockney. She is pretty Cockney.
But it's like, is that like an accent? Like where you grew up in London, is that like you would hear that around?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What part of England is that from?
There's different parts. There's like SDX, they're slightly different, but Southeast London is a bit like that, a bit Cockney here and there. You know what I mean, mate? Yeah, a little bit Cockney. Catches in a little bit of that. You see.
Cool. Yeah. No, I can't wait. Charlotte, this has been so much fun. Thanks so much for taking the time.
Oh,
it was fun to learn about you, and congrats on all the success, especially that. I think that my favorite takeaway from this is that you're like, all right, well, I know what I want to do. I know what kind of movies I want to do, what roles I want to do. And it was like most people, it's like, well, how am I going to get there?
Yeah.
But you, without hesitation, I'm going to write my roles, the movies that I want to do. And boom.
Yeah. Just got to keep going.
And it's worked out.
Somewhere to somewhere.
Yeah.
My little path and just keep going, making my movies, and hopefully it's 10 people, right?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. You definitely do. So thank you. And
So much.
yeah, this will be out soon. And then before the movie comes out, of course. And
All good.
thanks again for taking the time. And
Of
get some
course.
sleep. It's so late.
Yes, I'm gonna get some sleep now. Dad, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm excited
Nope.
to see the movie as well.
Wow. To play a person like Nicole Brown Simpson, that's got to be such a tough task. And it was cool to be able to pick her brain on that. And I can't wait to see that movie come out, because if you think about it, she started that in 2019. Then she's doing all these really action, sci-fi-ish, horror-ish movies. And then now you're going to have this movie come out in 2025 that's going to... She looks like her. And it's so fascinating that somebody went to go see her do a play. And they said, you remind me of somebody. And then the rest is history. But yeah, she was a lot of fun to talk to. I could have talked to her for hours, just to kind of like soak up like a sponge of just her passion. It is it's a beautiful thing when you see somebody that really says, I know what I want to do, and I need to figure out how to get to it. And as long as that took her, I don't know, but she said, you know what? I'm going to connect with Neil Marshall. We're going to write some movies. I'm going to write the roles that I want to do and the movies that I want to see. And I do love that. So don't forget, check out Duchess, August 9, 2024. Video on demand, digital, however you like to rent your brand new movies. Check it out. I love reading bloody, violent content, pervasive language. There's drug use. Come on. Who wouldn't want to see this movie? That's just what it says in the rating. I haven't seen the whole movie yet, but I can't wait. So your homework, Ocean's 8. It's like $3-4 to rent it a bunch of places. I got it on I rented it on Prime. Yeah, Jamie did not enjoy this movie at all, but we brought back our bad sequel expert that says maybe for a week that job's off. You be the judge, Nick Sperdone. So don't forget to review, rate, share our podcast. Follow us on all social media at Sequels Only. And don't forget to check out our website, sequelsonly.com. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, guys.